So the second I saw Caitlin Clark foul Angel Reese, Reese fall to the ground, Reese get up and get in Caitlin Clark's face, it was obvious what all the discussion points and talking points would be about, despite the Fever's route of the sky. Because really, the storyline, from a basketball play standpoint, was that the Fever didn't even play their best and they blew the sky off the floor. I mean, it was not a contest. Caitlin Clark gets a triple-double. Duana Bonner moves to third all-time in WNBA scoring history, and the Fever looked better defensively and rebounding. But they also won't be pushed around, which you saw in the midst of this. And the moral of the story is both Clark and Reese said, let's move on after the fact, showing that it was part of the competitive spirit and the way that the game is played. And sometimes it can get physical at times. But the real problem, the thing that it's going to be hard for the rest of the league to move on from, is how dangerous the Fever look. Now, when you do look at the play itself and everything that took place, here is exactly what Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese had to say. This was Caitlin after the game discussing the foul. I was sitting in this press conference when it happened. And many of the questions after the first two started going, you could tell somebody was waiting to ask this.
Let's not make it anything that it's not. It was just a good play on basketball. I'm not sure what the refs saw to upgrade it, and that's up to their discretion after watching the initial whatever happened during the play and then whatever happened after. We watch a lot of basketball. It's a take foul to put them at the free throw line. I'd rather give up 2 points. I've watched a lot of basketball in my life. That's exactly what it was. I wasn't trying to do anything malicious. That's not the type of player I am. So, yes, wasn't anything like that. And I went for the ball, and that's clear as day in the replay. You watch it. It shouldn't have been upgraded, but again, that's up to the ref's discretion. But I appreciate AB having my back. I guess I don't even know what she did. I didn't see that.
Well, girl,
Have fun paying that fine.
Can I get half? Can you?
I got it. No worries. Real hefty.
We'll get back to the AB aspect of that in a second. Look, Caitlin did take a take foul, did try to prevent the easy basket. That is indeed the case. Though in the midst of that, of course, I think there was a little extra spice put on it because Reese had shoved Natasha Howard right before that, and Caitlin saw it. It was right in front of her face. Reese shoved Howard in the battle for the rebound. And then Reese was definitely heated. I mean, there's no question about that. And look, that happens in the spirit of competitiveness and a rivalry or whatever you want to call it. Do I think that, Reese was, she was caught up in the moment a bit? Yeah, just like Caitlin may have been caught up in the moment for just a split second, though I agree with her reasoning. And these things, whether or not you're best of friends, can happen, and we can indeed move on, which was the moral of the story from both participants. This is what Reese had to say after the fact about that exact play.
Basketball play, refs got it right. Basketball play, refs got it right.
Basketball play, refs got it right. Let's move on. So there you have it. Caitlin didn't think it was a flagrant. Aaliyah Boston was very stunned to see that she even received a technical. That was part of that exchange that you saw just there. Here's some more of it right here at the entire thing from the press conference.
Yeah, Caitlin and Aaliyah, can you kind of go through the little issue there? What happened when you got the flagrant? Aaliyah, you got a technical. What kind of happened there?
If you got the tech?
I know. Wait, what?
I got the tech. Oh,
First of
no.
I know.
Let's not make it anything that it's not. It was just a good play on basketball.
So there you have it. Again, the same exact clip that Caitlin went on to talk about right there. That the disparity in the final score is the real story, right? Like going forward, that's the real story. 93-58. This was not close. It was not close. The Fever looked a lot better defensively, a lot better on the boards. They hold Chicago to 23 of 79 shooting. They score 93 themselves, despite missing a bunch of bunnies early in the game. A lot of layups that weren't converted early in the game. Those are the plays that Fever could have been up by more when the game was still, up for grabs, I guess you could say, even though they held the lead the entire time. Then you saw some of the new additions and how they could fit in. Natasha Howard is just such a massive upgrade over Nalissa Smith. Clark was throwing those long outlet passes. DeWanna Bonner didn't shoot the ball very well, but she reaches a historic feat in the process. And Caitlin Clark had nothing but compliments for Bonner, calling her the leading voice on the team. She said that in the presser too. And I actually asked Caitlin about the personnel and seeing it on the floor versus being asked about it in the offseason. And she basically said there's room for improvement, but there's so many weapons. Or a polite way of saying, how many stocks do I really have in stock? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5. That's kind of the vibe I got from Caitlin Clark, who puts up the triple-double, does the sort of stuff that you just don't see other people do, like a fading 3 to the left. That was really a difficult hit. And LeBron James did a photo dump with the meetup. He also saluted Caitlin Clark on the triple-double. And if games were longer, I really wouldn't put it past Caitlin Clark to average a triple-double. I really wouldn't. I mean, she is going to put up those kind of numbers. She would have gotten there. What was the rebound that she needed at the end? She was already up on rebounds, but she would have had a lot more assists if a couple of plays were converted early in the game. But you can see this renewed focus on defense and the toughness that the Fever have, because Clark got back in transition and stopped a Reese layup. She stripped Reese under the basket on one play on one of those, multiple putback opportunities. And then the rest of the Fever, Kelsey Mitchell did her thing. She was scoring early, especially early in the game. They didn't go too deep into the bench. Only a few minutes for Michaela Timpson and Brianna Turner. 23 minutes for Lexi Hull. Her energy is just invaluable. You're going to see that throughout the season. And then again, they've got that leadership that has been brought in, the players that know how to win and are going to help set that culture of not being pushed around. Going to help set that culture. DeWanna Bonner being one of them. And then you had this moment after the fact with DB and Caitlin Clark both sharing the post-game interview stage. But we all know Clark and Reese will be a discussion point. I knew the second I saw it, it was like I was trying to figure out, what's going to be the story coming out of this game. Then it was like right in front of you. Here it is. Go to the headlines. But both parties, to their credit, Caitlin saying nothing malicious, just a take foul, and Angel saying, I thought it was called right on the floor. Let's move on. Basketball play. I think they want it put to bed. And again, it was, what really is flagrant is if you're a Sky fan and you saw the scoreboard. That's really what's going to be flagrant. And what's going to be hardest for the rest of the WNBA to move on from is how formidable the Fever look.